catch it. You know,
Yeah.
Tell me a story real quick, Harmony.
Sure. There was this pig, and his name was Connor, and he wore a bow tie, and then he fell in love.
Great.
Let me kick it back. 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 Hey boy, right there, what you gonna do if they gonna do you like that? I'm a wild boy and I need to be arrested.
All right, and welcome to episode 50 of Fehr the Burn podcast. I am your host, Chandler Fehr, and I am currently joined with a college friend of mine, someone who I met, good Lord, 4 years ago, 5 years ago to this point?
2018.
2018?
Yeah.
That was your first semester? Okay. Someone I met 2018 who is now the most recent acceptance into the college grad program of stage management at Wayne State. Give it up for Harmony! Yeah! Harmony, I forgot, your last name is Thompson, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And don't mind that. Nothing's going on there. Harmony, I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lot of things set up for this podcast that I forgot to do before we got here. So we're going to wing a lot of this.
Heck yeah.
But I would just like to start off with can you introduce yourself to the people? Tell the people what you're about. You're the better half of the Condell family, right?
True.
Happening in the Book of Will, which runs April 14th, 15th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. But go ahead and introduce people for who don't know you.
Yeah. I'm Harmony. I'm a senior this year, and like we said, I'm going to Wayne State next year to do some stage management and get my master's degree, which is super exciting. So I mostly stage manage, but I perform every now and then when I'm not managing. And so the Book of Will is our final show of the year, and acting in that one as Elizabeth Condell, the wife of Henry Condell. And it's quite fun. Henry's kind of a lunatic, so Elizabeth really gets to rope him in and be the grounding of the pair.
Yeah,
So.
and Henry is played by Tanner Morton, who we had on last week, and we got drunk with Dave. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait for you to see it. But yeah, so when did you start doing theater, Harmony?
I started in my sophomore year of high school. So my freshman year of high school, my high school did the Addams Family musical.
Oh, very cool.
It was brilliant, and somebody that I was like madly in love with was in that show, and was like, "Hey, you should come see it." And so
Jacob Thomason.
No, but close. It was a Jacob, but not Thomason. And so I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I'll come see it." And then I was like, "Oh my god, that's really cool. I kind of want to do that." And I was a choir kid. Like, that was my whole thing. And so I was like, musicals kind of work. And so the next year they did Beauty and the Beast, and I auditioned and I was in the ensemble. And so then junior and senior year, I was in the musicals then, and then came to college as a music major.
Oh, wow.
Made it 2 days in the
Nice,
music program.
nice. You're like, way too
Hated
hard.
it.
Way too hard.
Hated it. Well, it wasn't even that. Like, it's a whole long thing, but basically the chair of the music department, it's a different chair now.
Okay.
But the old chair basically said if I wanted to be anything in music, I had to get out of theater.
Oh, that's stupid.
So I went home that day and changed my major to theater.
Yeah. You're like,
Dropped
I'm not
music.
doing that. Were you a
So-
theater minor?
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
theater. So I came into college. I was very, I don't know the word. I was like way over my head when I came into school. I was wanting to major in music education and music therapy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I was minoring in theater and German. So triple major, double minor. It was great.
Don't let your dreams
And,
be dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But they didn't let your dreams be dreams, Harmony. They told you if you want to do anything in
They
the
were
theater, you
like,
got to get
"No,
the fuck
no
out."
dreams for you.
You're going to be nothing in music.
So yeah, I immediately dropped all of my music stuff and then was theater major with German minor for 2 years. And then they stopped offering the German classes. And then they were like, just kidding, we don't offer a German minor anymore. So I was like,
You're like,
Nice.
You just
so not
whittled.
just a theater major.
Yeah, you just whittled yourself down, dude. It's like you're a stick that an old guy with a fucking knife outside is just whittling. It's like, cut this off, let's cut that off.
Just hacking away at my college career.
So you started as a performer strictly then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And then, so first of all, the only thing, I would like to say this, Harmony, and I would like to get to know you a little bit better because although we've known each other for a while, the only things that I really know that you enjoy are music and theater. I don't really know things about you outside of that. Like, we're good friends and like we have a lot of fun and like we joke around and shit, but like I was thinking about it. That's why I texted you before this. I was like, are you more interested in fruits or serial killers? And you were like, this is the weirdest question I've ever gotten.
That's true.
But so you started as a performer, and when did you make your transition into stage management?
So Vanessa's my advisor. So I was meeting with her when registration would start for the next semester. So during first semester, we had our meeting for spring, and she was saying, well, how do you feel about stage management? And all I knew about it was from high school, where it was literally just somebody walking around backstage telling everyone to shut up.
Yeah, it's garbage. Yeah.
So I was like,
not even running a show. Like, we don't even know what the running a show meant.
No.
Yeah.
So I was like, obviously, I don't want to do that. Like, that sounds like the stupidest thing ever. And she was like, well, that sucks because it's a required class. So you have to take it. I was like, okay, fine. And at that point, I'd only even been in one show, and that was Lily's, which is a show.
It's definitely a nightmare of a show.
It's a fever dream.
It's fever dream for sure.
I've been putting it out of my memory.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
But yeah, so I took the class. I went in, and I was like, man, this is going to suck. Like, I hate this. I don't want to be here. And then, like, throughout the class, I was like, oh, wait, this is actually, like, this is kind of cool. And then our final project was the 10-minute play festival. And so I got to stage manage a 10-minute play, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. This is exactly what I want to do. And getting to, like, call cues from a booth for the first time was, like, this huge adrenaline rush that I never felt anything like. And I was like, wow,
yeah,
maybe I do like this.
It's stage managing is a weird thing because, like, even me, you, and Ray were kind of talking about the other day, like, when the only thing I stage managed is our town, right, in spring of 2018 before you got there. And the thing that I just found, dude, is it's just like so much of it is like I don't know how much you know about football, but like a lot of it to me is like playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Where it's just like people are supposed to do different things, and you just tell them what to do, and you just be nice about it, right? But just tell them what to do, and then hopefully they do it so you can sling them the ball. You're like, let me throw you this pass right here.
Yeah, and then they don't do the thing, and then you're like, well.
Yeah. Now, what is your favorite part about stage management?
I just really enjoy, like, I don't know if it's a selfish quality or not, but I really enjoy, like, being the person that people come to when they need help.
I agree with that.
And so, like, when people have problems, I'm always like, I know 1,000,001 ways I could solve that right now. But, so I think just being able to think super fast, it's always been great stage managing. And Stefan, literally during Marisol, we had our whole bed frame broke. Like 10 minutes before we opened the house. It's just a tiny little crappy metal bed frame.
Yikes.
And so it's in a huge fight scene too. So they needed it on stage. And we were like, so Preston and I, he was my light board op, we just took it into the shop and welded it really quick and then threw it back on stage. But Stefan talked to me after that performance, and he was like, I don't understand how the world can be on fire and you'll look at me and be like, okay, I'll fix it. And I was like, that's my job. But like,
why do you think you can do that though?
I think because I'm such an anxious person, like I have terrible, terrible anxiety. So like I've already imagined the long list of things that could go wrong during a show, and like, oh, if this person fell on their face right now, like here's how I'd fix it. It never happens, but I've already thought through everything.
Right.
Every possible mistake.
You're like most 16-year-old guys on their first dates, dude.
Yep.
They're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if she sneezes?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you this compliment, and it's not from me. It's actually from your stage husband, Tanner Morton. He didn't say this on camera, but we were just kind of chatting afterwards, and he was saying that he thinks, Tanner's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
10 years. I mean, granted, like 2 or 3 of those were in Oregon or whatever. But he's only seen a few people theater-wise, like acting, performing, that he's like, man, you can do this on stage. And I hope that I'm not ruining Tanner Morton's secrets or whatever. But he's like, but there's a lot more tech people that I've seen come out of ISU that I'm like, man, yeah, I think you can actually do this. And he said that he thinks you're going to be a really great stage manager, like in the professional world. Now, I agree with that. I think that you're a great person. I think you're very organized, and obviously your anxiety is going to help you down the line.
Oh, halfway.
I don't know how, but it is. So I heard one time from an old professor of ours who was telling this girl, and I forget if it was just about tech theater in general or about carpentry, because the lady was working in like the scene shop, that in order to make it as a tech lady in the tech world of theater, that you have to be, quote unquote, a bitch. Now, what do you think about? Do you think that this is true, Harmony? Because I the farthest thing I would classify you as is a rude person, a bitch, a mean, like any of the fucking, synonyms that I can come up with that. So, what do you think about that statement? Because I don't think that's a philosophy that you necessarily agree with.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But no, I don't agree with that statement. I think a lot of people think that it is a very male-dominated field, and there are. I've never been the kind of person to say it, but like not all men, So like it really depends on who you're working with. I think that there are some people, not just men, but some people in the industry. Once they've been doing something for a certain amount of time, they think that they know everything. They don't want anybody to tell them what they're doing, and it's especially
Mostly men.
But it's especially harder when it's a woman coming in and trying to be in charge. And so I think that women tend to have to be more assertive and maybe not aggressive, but just like forcefully assertive in what they're doing and what they're saying. And they have to work harder to be in charge. But I definitely don't think you have to be a bitch. Like there have been times when I'm managing that I absolutely want to rip my hair out and scream at somebody. But then you lose respect too. If you lose your cool, they're never going to respect you again. So I think that it's just like from day one, establishing this is the chain of command. Like I am in charge, whether you like it or not, but this is how it's going to work. And just continuing the, respect is a two-way street. So as long as you're working with them, hopefully they'll work with you. And you have to be willing to have the hard conversations, but there are ways to get your point across. Like my favorite thing right now, I found a little thing on Facebook of all places, but it was just like, you can be mad without being mean. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like I've been so pissed off a million times because that's just what happens. But I don't have to take that out on other people. I can air out a frustration with them, but not make it like attacking them. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It is interesting, right? Because like I think even just because of the sexist values that I think America's held for a long time, men in tech theater, it seems that they're just like, oh well, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, which is kind of why I was saying, I was like, I don't think you need to be like a quote unquote like bitch to be in technical theater. I just think as a lady, like, unfortunately, right now it seems like you just have to take more initiative.
Yeah.
Like all the time, all the time, which can probably get really draining. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. My boyfriend Joe, like I go home to him all the time, and I just like all the time, and he's like, oh my god, like what happened at rehearsal? And I'm like, literally nothing, but just like having to be the person that like, not that I get blamed when things go wrong, but since everybody tells me that things are going wrong, it's hard not to feel like you're the problem sometimes. Even when you're literally nowhere close to being the problem.
You're literally the solution.
You're the solution. But it can be hard when everything is like aimed at you, because you're the person they have to talk to. And so taking initiative a lot, you have to really, really, really like be on top of your game. And if you fall behind like at all, it can be so terrifying. And but I think the other thing is just like, you have to be able to take shit from people. Like everywhere you work, there's always going to be the banter around the building. And you don't want to come off as like the girl who can't take a joke, because then they're just going to make it worse for you. But if you know how to throw it right back at them, they'll either leave you alone or you'll have like a best friend for life.
Yeah, weird how that works, right? Yeah. Men are very interesting creatures. They're just like making jokes. If someone gets pissed off, they're like, fuck that person. But if you look at that person and you're like, fuck you, then you're going to be like, man, I think I kind of like that lady.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I kind of want to talk about some shows real quick.
Okay.
Tell me about Lily's.
So Lily's was the first show of my freshman year in fall of 2018. That's where I met Chandler. And we were all mice.
Mice.
It was terrifying.
We made men of mice. No more mice of men. Men of mice.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a children's show about a little tiny mouse named Lily, who is kind of a little brat and having to learn how to not be a brat, basically.
She's learning how to share and shit.
Yeah.
She gets like this like plastic purple purse from her grandma, and then I think it's something about show and tell. She doesn't want to show it at show and tell, and she needs to learn. And
Yeah.
the CIA comes and arrests her teacher and kills him and shit. It's a wild show.
This big ass cat comes through the whole audience. Like,
What was that like for your first show at ISU, though?
honestly, I was so confused.
Dude, like first rehearsal, we show up and our director Norm is just like, yeah, well, today we're gonna be doing a 20-minute rehearsal of just recess.
Here's some toys. Yeah.
Use some toys, just run around, be mice.
But it was great because I was one of the parents, and so me and Caleb were just sitting in the audience because he was like, "Oh, parents don't do recess because we're adults."
And Dave, fuck
And
you, David.
And Dave.
Yeah.
So we're just like sitting in the audience watching all of our friends run up and down the stairs screaming like children, and we're like, Caleb and I, both freshmen, like, huh? But, well, and so, like, I had just seen, they did First Date right before that. So I had just seen that quality of a show. And I was like, yeah, college theater. And then Lily's.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, children's theater, children's college theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience for sure. I was just kind of curious because, like, you know, I was very heavily involved in that show, and I was a kid. So I was just kind of curious, like, from the parents' perspective.
It was interesting. I mean, I wasn't called for a lot of rehearsal because a lot of people were playing multiple roles. Like the grandma was also a student later on in the show because the grandma was such like a short role. But the parents came back every couple of scenes. But we didn't have as much rehearsal time because we didn't really need it. They were really short scenes. And so there were days where the full cast would be called and then we'd get there and Norm would be like, actually, you guys can go home.
Yeah.
And so Caleb and I were like, sick.
Cool.
Great.
Homework.
Yeah, and then we'd leave. Or he'd like send us off to go watch like I Love Lucy or something to get like the couple vibe he was looking for.
I feel like you need to watch 15 seconds of I Love Lucy and go, got it.
All right, we're good.
I get it. Seen this before.
I know. I was like, do you understand, Norm, that I grew up watching that show? I already got this.
You're like, I have them memorized, Norm.
I know it. Yeah, no. But it was so interesting. And then like coming back into rehearsal, you know, Caleb and I would show up a few minutes early for the next call and then just see like 23-year-olds crawling on their hands and knees or riding in Heelys across the stage.
You know what's crazy about that, dude, is we were all so young during that process. I'm 24 now.
Oh, dang.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was 20 during that process, you know? Like, and all of us. I think Justin was maybe 22. David was, like,
gosh.
21. Dude, we were, like,
so
you were
little.
18. Shit,
Yeah.
dude. We were all so young. That's so crazy. What is, before we, oh, no. What is your favorite show that you stage managed at ASU?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I have to say The Wolves. I mean, that was the first show that I got to stage manage, and I got it by just like pure luck.
That's the soccer one, yeah?
Yeah, it's a soccer
The ladies,
one.
yeah.
And so we also did Bright Star that semester. That was the year that COVID shut down, so Wolves got pushed to the fall anyway instead of the spring. But we were doing Bright Star and then The Wolves, and so Caitlin and I were both the ASMs for both shows. And then there were 2 stage managers for the other shows. And then the stage manager for Bright Star, I don't remember exactly what happened, but left ISU. And so then Caitlin got pulled up to stage manage. So I was ASMing both. And then the stage manager for the Wolves also left school. And so they were like, well, hey, Harmoni.
It's your time.
Literally, like, I auditioned. I got called back for the Wolves. And then all of a sudden I was stage managing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. But it was so much fun. And like, I played soccer as a kid. And so getting to do all that again. And we worked with the women's soccer team. And it was really fun.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was kind of crazy. Like, you know, we're so used to just being cooped up in the SPAC all the time. And a beautiful place. Love to be there. But like, we never leave. And so then all of a sudden we were down at Reed Gym, like doing soccer drills with all of them and out on the big soccer field. And so we were having, you know, rehearsal in brand new places all of a sudden and getting to go play soccer instead of running lines. Like, crazy.
Would you guys run lines like in, like where would you practice at, like Holt or Davis Field or?
There were a couple on Davis. Mostly it was in like the big basketball gym in Reed.
Okay.
Just because the weather was, But first show of the fall and couldn't really predict it. But so they mostly just like the first hour would just be them teaching footwork and how to handle a soccer ball. But then they'd get in a circle and like pass the ball around, and they'd start running lines while they were doing that exercise, which was really great because they're all laughing and screaming and trying to get their lines out, and people are calling for line, but nobody knows where we are. And so it was really chaotic. And then even like Vanessa was playing with them, which was so cool to see.
Yeah, that's been cool to see. Like in my time away, that the theater department's kind of tried to cross over with different departments too, like the soccer, and then I know that you guys did the Greek show, Thebes.
Yeah, Burial at Thebes.
And you guys some people worked with the wrestling coach. I saw an article about that.
Caleb and Devin got to do that.
Yeah.
Really good.
Like the Greco wrestling coach.
Yeah. I think he was one of the high school coaches.
So that wasn't ISU. That probably would have been a.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
still, like community work.
Very cool.
Super awesome. But yeah, Burial at Thebes was also really fun. I got to manage that one. That one was a little terrifying just because we had to make it rain blood from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's the picture that I've seen. That looks wild, though,
it was
dude.
Really cool. I was also working as a carpenter that semester, and so I was the one that had to rig the water up on the grid. Literally like 12 to 15 hours of zip ties on a garden hose.
No.
And then I would get it done, and then the person in charge would be like, actually, I don't really like that. I don't like that arrangement. So I'd go back and undo it all.
No, dude.
It was terrible. We wasted so many zip ties. And it was just, yeah. And eventually we got it. And I was like, I'm not changing it again. Like, I'm not doing it. If you want it different, you get to go up there and crawl around on the grid for 4 hours.
Sweet, man. Yeah, that's crazy. That is so crazy. It's wild, like, the amount of shit that you'll do for theater that people will just be like, yeah, do it again. Yeah, like, I don't like that. Like, just do it again.
Yeah.
So how has this show been for you?
Book of Will?
This Book of Will that runs April 14th, 15th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd at Idaho State University.
Wow. It's been great. It's always hard for me to turn off my stage manager brain when I start acting again.
Like texting me 3 minutes before rehearsal or whatever, being like, "Are you coming to rehearsal?"
Yeah.
I'm like, Harmony, we're just actors.
Like, shut up.
We're homies. Let Amy text me.
I know. Yeah, so that's always a problem. And I think that I'm getting there finally. Like, I've stopped showing up 30 minutes early and just started showing up like 5 to 10 and just sitting in the audience being like, okay, time to be on the stage.
Trying to relax a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like, not that acting is not hard work, but I feel like I get to turn off my brain a little bit more. Because when I'm stage managing, it's everything I have. And then acting, it just feels a little easier, I guess.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Acting is not hard.
All right.
I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, you should just not take away anything from actors. But like, and not to like, acting isn't necessarily like a skill. It's definitely a skill you have to learn. But as far as like what other people do in theater, acting is the easiest shit you can do.
Fair.
100%. Like, again, not like necessarily the skill, but it's just like if your job is to show up and do lines, well, guess what, dude? The ASM has been here since 3 o'clock today, and they've been cooking pork chops and like and setting up the blood rain and shit.
Oh my God. I always, anyway, okay, I'll get to that. But it's been so much fun. And like, the other show that I acted in freshman year was Shakespeare in Love, and that was also in some dialects and stuff. And
Macbeth. You also did McBee.
And Mackers, but that wasn't an RP.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
But yes, I forgot about Mackers. Yeah, so that was, I had 2 lines the whole show. They were very fun, but I had 2 lines. And then I got to scream a lot during the big brawl scene. But
and I screamed at you. I put a dog in your face and screamed at you.
That's great. Yeah. And then Brittany had to bite my leg. That was great. But yeah, so like I haven't done any dialect work since freshman year. I took the dialects class, but not for a full show. And this is definitely like one of the biggest roles I've ever played. And so there's a lot, like it's kind of crazy, but it's been so much fun. And I think the cast is really, really fun to work with. I've never, it can be hard with, any theater, but collegiate especially. you can either have a really great cast or, iffy one. But I feel like there hasn't been any problems with this one. Like, everyone's so supportive. Everyone is just so excited about the work, and like there hasn't been any drama.
Yeah.
Which has been so nice, and especially for my last show, like to just be able to come in and chill and know that my castmates are just going to be amazing. But yeah, I was going to say, I think it's so funny when, like, especially when we get to tech, and hearing actors complain, our tech is so short compared to literally anywhere else. Because, we have dry tech, which is just the technical people, for 4 hours, and then wet tech the next day for 4 hours. And then we start dress rehearsals. But like, I was talking to the grad school that I'm going to.
Can you explain dry and wet tech people real quick who don't know?
So dry tech is just for, like, it's really for the director and the lighting designer to go through all the cues. And if there's like sound or other fancy cues, we usually only have light here, and sometimes sound. But if there's like projections or the fly system or anything like that, it's for all of those designers and the director to be able to walk through the show and see each cue and see if they like it, or if they need to adjust or add anything or take anything out. They can do that before the actors come in. And so then wet tech is with all of the actors and all of those designers. And the only thing we don't have is like costumes and hair and makeup. So then they get to see what it looks like with people on the stage and in the context of the show.
We like actually run the show for wet tech is the difference. Yeah.
But
Wayne State, sorry.
No, yeah. But so both of those usually only take 4 hours. Sometimes it goes a little over, but like 4 hours. And I was talking to the guy at Wayne. I was like, yeah, we just take like 4 hours. And he's like, are you serious? Like, we take 2 days for wet tech. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. And he's like, yeah, we're there for, so they do 10 out of 12, which is it's a 12-hour day, but they have like 2 hours worth of like lunch break and things like that. And he was like, yeah, we do that twice. So, and their shows are huge. Like, they're way bigger than ours, but still, like, and, you go to professional companies and they're doing tech, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like, it's insane. And so I love hearing actors come in and, I don't want to be here till 5 o'clock. And they just got there at 1. I'm like, I have been here since 9 a.m. Like, and I'm going to be here till almost 11 p.m. Like, shut up. You don't get to talk.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I have sympathy for you because, 4 hours is a lot of time. But at the same time, I don't care about your tiny problem. But
Drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
That's what those actors think about people taking their time. They're like, they're just taking my milkshake. They're sucking all my time up. Man, that's crazy. That's so funny too. You're definitely not bitter at all about that.
Oh, no.
It is funny. Like, since I stepped away and then I came back, like, I think a lot about, like, the theater is the only place that I want to be.
Yeah.
So if I'm there, I'm trying not to complain at all, dog.
Exactly.
Because I think to myself, I'm like, man, after this, I gotta go scrub toilets, dude. I want this time right here to never end, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, the show has been a lot of fun, and like you said, like, it has been like very drama free and just kind of people coming in, and it's like, it seems like a lot of it is just for the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is the beautiful thing about it. Why did you choose Wayne State? I've never heard of Wayne State until
I hadn't
you.
either. So I mean, I went through ERDAs, which I have no idea what ERDA stands for. I used to, but I don't anymore.
Universal reciprocating together always.
Is reciprocating a word?
Yeah, women. Universal reciprocating. Together always women.
All right,
ERDAs,
sure.
Yeah. It is the ladies' conference. Oh, I'm thinking Satara maybe.
Yeah.
What is ERDAs? Is ERDAs just a technical?
Well, it's like
It's the grad college.
It's to get into like grad programs.
That's right.
And like, I guess there's some companies that come to it, but not a lot.
Did you do that in Chicago?
Luckily it was virtual for me.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, they've opened it up a lot since COVID hit, because they had to do everything virtually, and then they were like, why are we making these people come all the way to Chicago? So yeah, I got to do it over Zoom, and so there's literally like 11 stage management programs in the whole country.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrifying, and there are like none in the Northwest. I love the Pacific Northwest. It is like my shit. And so I was like, oh, I really wanted to find someplace in Washington, but there are no management programs. There are hardly acting programs up here.
Wow.
And so I was like, great. And the closest one was California. And go California, but I don't want to live there.
Nope.
And
Nope.
then there's also one in Las Vegas, but I didn't really want to live in Vegas.
Too hot. Very dangerous.
Exactly.
Too hot, very dangerous.
I was like, I would hate my life in Vegas. But, and then when I started looking, I was like, I don't really want to go on the East Coast. Like, I don't want to go that far away from the Pacific Northwest. And then I was like, ooh, Scotland. Like, Scotland has a program.
It's so funny how theater people do that. They're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go to like, Boston or anything. But you know what would be cool? London seems awesome. Yeah.
But, so yeah. And then, so going through IRTAs, there was, I don't know, like 10, because Las Vegas wasn't even, I don't think they were even recruiting this year. They might have been, but there was not a lot of information on them. And so I applied through IRTAs, and the way that works is just you submit all your info to them, and they distribute it to the schools that are recruiting for your discipline, and then they get to decide if they want to interview you or not. So out of the 10, I think I interviewed with 6.
Oh, wow.
Which was great.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so Wayne State was in those 6. And then, so Wayne and one of the schools in Illinois were my top choices. But Illinois has like one of the best programs in the country. And so I was like, oh, there's no way like that I'm ever going to get in there. And then they asked for more interviews, and I was like, okay. But so I had my first interview with Wayne, and the guy, his name's Matt. He was amazing. He was so cool, so down to earth. His cat kept crashing the interview, and I was like, beautiful. Like, I want to go there. So
You're just talking to him. The cat just like peeks its head around.
yeah, like,
It's like, what are you guys doing?
you know when people have like the green screen on Zoom so you can't see what's like really behind them? The cat, you could just like see flicker in and out of the green screen. And then he'd be like, sorry, my freaking cat's back here. And then at one point, literally like something broke back behind him, and he was like, it's my cat. Like, it was so funny. But he was so nice. And then he was telling me like they just finished a brand new performing arts facility. So everything is just, oh my God. And it's beautiful.
Money.
And seriously, like it's great. They've got like one of their stages has like a 20 by 20, trap in it that I think is also like a hydraulic lift.
What?
Insane. I know.
Wow.
So yeah. But yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, well, that's really interesting, and I would like to know more about that. And then they asked for another interview. And so him and he brought the chair of the department into that interview, and we all got to talk, and it just, everything I learned about them, I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. They became my number 1 school. Illinois fell to like number 2. And I was like, Illinois is great, but their building has been up since the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
and it's nice, it's pretty, but like my main reason to go is for the new technology. Because, we're kind of small here. We don't get the new technology.
I think we've gotten some in the last couple of years, yeah, because I don't want to say too much on air, but I know that someone who we know definitely went on a little spending spree.
Oh, yeah.
To get some cool movers and stuff.
That did happen. Yes, it did. But yeah, like Marisol, I mean, I guess we used them in Lily's, but like not as much. But Marisol was the first time I really worked with projections. And then the opera was the first time I even saw a fly system. Like, here. I've seen it professionally, but like actually been around one. And that was literally just to lift out some windows. Like, it was crazy. But, yeah, so of course I'm going to go to this school with a freaking hydraulic lift. Are you kidding? But, yeah, so then he's very much he doesn't really like emailing if he doesn't have to. He really wants to talk on the phone. He's like 30s. Like, he's not that old, but he's like, oh, I hate email.
Yeah.
Which is great. But,
I've never met a stage manager who says that.
I know.
I hate email. Oh, really? How do you get a hold of everybody?
Yeah, but so he was like, oh yeah, like we should talk. Like, I want to talk to you over the phone. This was a couple weeks ago, and it was a Friday, and he was like, so do you have any time tomorrow to talk on the phone? And I was like, yeah, for sure. That would have been the Saturday. And I was like, yeah, I'm available, all day. Just let me know when. He never replied. And so Saturday evening, I was like, hey man, you still want to talk? And he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. My whole day got away from me. And they're 2 hours ahead. And so it was like 10 p.m. And he was like, I can't today. But do you have time tomorrow? Which was Sunday. And I was like, yeah, I'm available all day. Let me know. Never replied. So Sunday at like 3, I was like, hey Matt, you still want to chat? Like, I'm like panicking. Like, oh my God, like what is happening right now? And he was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, sorry, I lost track of time again today. Like, they're moving into the new building and he's in charge of the move. So like, he's so busy, but he's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay, yeah, like Monday I have this time in the morning or this time in the afternoon, but then I have rehearsal. So like kind of a short window. And he was like, okay, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll email you in the morning and let you know when. It didn't happen. So like Monday at noon, I was like, hey, when do you want? I was like, this has been 3 days of us trying and failing.
Man, this needs to happen.
I was like, I'm losing my mind. But so I was like, I'm hoping maybe you can just tell me when you're available this week. And I'll make myself available. I will carve out time for this phone call. And he literally was like, I need like 5 minutes on the phone. And I was like, why can't you
brother
5 minutes in a day? My brother in Christ. Like, I was like, oh my God. But, and he like this whole long email, he was so apologetic and very like sincere. And he was like, this is very important to me. You know, I definitely want to talk with you. I was like, okay, well, when?
Yeah.
And so he was like, how about tomorrow at this exact time? I will call you. I was like, sick, got it. And then he did, thank God. And he was like, yeah, so you're definitely like, you're my top choice and we really want you here. And I was like,
you're like in the country?
I was like, out of everybody?
Okay.
But yeah, he was like, he's like, you're my top candidate and, you know, we'd really like to see you here. We think you'd be a really good fit. So yes, we would like to extend an offer and I can send you all of that in writing right after I hang up this phone. Right after being
you're like, are you gonna
3 hours later?
Are you gonna send it?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, so when can I expect to see that email? He was like, give me like 30 minutes after we end this phone call to like type everything up and get all the right info. And I was like, okay, yeah. For 3 or 4 hours later. And it was like, at least it was the same day. Like at that point, I was like, okay. But yeah, so, he offered me the spot and, I waited like a week before accepting it because I was trying to figure everything out still. And I had another interview with Illinois. And then that was on this past Friday. And Wayne State, or not this past Friday, the Friday before. So Illinois was like, we're about to go on spring break, so we probably still won't be making any offers for like 3 weeks. I was like, oh my God. And then, yeah, Wayne State needed my offer the following Wednesday. Like, they needed my response. And I was like, great, I'm not going to wait for Illinois.
Did you tell Illinois that
Yeah.
you're not taking it?
Yeah, I was like, hey, I already accepted an offer.
I know all my hoes miss me.
That's right. That's right. Those hoes miss you.
True, it's true.
Yeah. They
gonna
missed
be
their
sad.
shot.
They gonna be sad. But yeah, so it's basically a full ride at Wayne. Like, I get a full tuition waiver. I'll have to pay for like textbooks.
Wow.
And then a full like stipend while I'm there. So
now, how are you feeling? We've talked about this briefly about living in Detroit. If I had a gun sound, I would click it right now.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. I think it'll be interesting. I think it's I'm gonna be living. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
don't
be
say where you're
by
gonna be
myself.
living.
No,
Yeah, don't say that.
I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna have 10 roommates, and they're all bodybuilders. No, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to find somewhere not in Detroit. Like, I want to live outside the city because I don't want to live on campus, and I don't want an apartment where I can like see campus because I feel like that will not be enough of like a detachment to live a life outside of school. But luckily the housing over there is like dirt cheap. Like, I've been finding 3-bedroom houses for like $9.50 a month.
But why, Harmony?
Because it's Detroit.
Because it's Detroit. And people are dying.
But so, and I think it's so funny. I've been looking at the listings and like they show the like amenities in the house. And then almost all of them are like built-in alarm system. And I'm like, that makes sense.
You're like, yeah.
And that tracks.
Never see that out here.
Ugh, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. And so I told my boyfriend, I was like, I'm going to get like 10 pit bulls. And he was like, God, please don't. But, you know, here's what you got to do.
I think if you just get a bat
I have a metal bat. My
Yeah.
dad gave it to me when I went to college. Just like a metal baseball bat. Keep it by my
Your
door.
dad, dude? Smart guy. Fucking smart guy. The things that you told me your dad has told you, dude, very smart man.
True.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'll certainly be, I'll be praying for you, to ask that God ain't gonna send you up to heaven when you're out in Detroit. Before, I have a segment I'd like to do with you, and then to learn a little bit more about you, and then to talk about something else. But before I do, I have one last question about the theater department here.
Okay.
How do you feel, in your opinion, because you were about 2 years after I started, and your first year was my last year before my break, how do you feel the culture has shifted in the department then to now?
Yeah. Man, I gotta be careful how I say this. I don't know who watches your show, but
Pretty much nobody.
All right.
You can also cut it out if you feel like it's too much. I'm not here to be rude or anything. I just noticed, like, personally for me, like, differences. You know, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they're better or worse. I'm just saying, like,
Definitely.
it is just is what it is.
yeah, I think when I got here, and it might have just been me, but when I got here, it felt really cliquey.
Yep.
And
Yes.
it was like people were like, "Oh, it's a big community," but it was like a bunch of little communities that hated each other.
Yep.
And so,
Oh my God!
but
The drama
the drama
was crazy.
it was awful.
It was too bad.
And it was just like people excluding people just for the sake of feeling some semblance of power.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so crappy to come into as a freshman. But and I think with each year it got a little bit better. You know, people, I think senioritis plays into a lot of the problems that we have because people are just so done with being in school and then they kind of get a little crazy.
Do you mean now or?
I mean, always.
Oh, okay.
But like it's just people get tired. People have seen the same, 10 people for the last 4 or 5 years, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't do this anymore." And then it turns into, people are rude to each other or catty or whatever it is. But then I think each new year that starts, everyone's, trying to be making friends, and I think just overall, since my freshman year, we've gotten rid of a lot of the drama, and it's a lot less cliquey now than it was. I think the fraternity plays at least a decent sized part in that. I think we've gotten a lot more engagement from the department. I know my freshman year, like half the department was part of APO, and then the rest of the people were like, "Nah, fuck that shit. Like, I don't want to do that." But now it's like almost the whole department, and so I think now that we're spending time with each other that's not exclusively theater based, like we have game nights and movie nights and stuff, and so people have the opportunity to actually get to know each other, there's a lot less division.
Well, I think we had that back in the day too, right? Like we had APO, and granted, like you're saying, like my freshman year, it was very much more like everybody pretty much was involved in APO as well. The differences that I've seen too is this group of people seem way less competitive. And not necessarily that they don't want to do well, just that when I was in school, originally, we wanted to fucking eat each other alive for roles. And we didn't want to see each other win. That's the big thing that I've noticed about these people is like this cast specifically that I'm involved with now, that we're involved with, really wants to see each other do well.
Yeah.
And that's nice. And I was talking with Tanner Morton too, and Dave the other night, and my group of people had, like, you could fit all of the self-esteem that we had into this cup.
Yep.
Right? And we had dude, so insecure, all of us. But I think these kids now, I say kids loosely, right? I'm only like about 4 years older than most of them. And I think I'm only 3 or 2 years older than you. But it just seems like these people have more self-confidence and self-esteem and
I think definitely it's turned into like, it was I can see that from my freshman year. It turned, oh my gosh, I cannot talk. It used to be like a tear each other down so that you can get up, but now it's like everyone wants everyone to be getting better.
Yeah.
And so we build each other up, and so like, I can be building up you, and then I just know that it'll happen in return.
Yeah.
And so then everyone gets the chance to get better.
Yeah, and you don't have to be afraid because, like, even back in the day, people would just be two-faced to you and be like, oh, you're doing so good, and then do some fuck shit behind your back to be like, now I'm fucking you over for this, or like, whatever. Yeah. It's garbage. Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, again, not dissing anybody, and certainly I think that, because, I think that also with competition comes, like, breeding, some of the best qualities about yourself too, because I think that sometimes if you have less competition, it can kind of lead you to be a little bit more mediocre. Again, not saying anybody else is mediocre. I'm just saying, like, when we were back there, like, I was trying to do my best in every single audition. Like, I would not phone anything in.
Yep.
Because I was like, I know that everyone else is going to be trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Harmony, what do you like outside of music and theater? What are your interests?
That's a really, really great question.
You're like, I don't even know.
Who knows? I don't get time to do anything else. I don't know. I'm like, I would like to say that I'm a movie guy, but then everyone's like, oh, have you seen this movie? And I always say no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very specific kind of movie guy. But like,
what kind of movie guy are you?
I don't want to tell you.
Someone's got a secret.
Well, I'm a Disney guy. And then,
that's not so
like,
bad, dude. There's so many Disney adults out here. You got nothing to be worried about with that. Come on.
But, and then, like, I'm a big, like, action and comedy guy. And so, but I hate horror. Like, I can't do horror movies. I'm a little bitch. And so, but yeah, people are like, oh, have you seen also, if there is an animal that dies in a movie, can't watch it. Can't do it. Everyone wants me to watch John Wick. Can't do it.
That seems like such a crazy movie, dude. Do you watch the dog die in that movie?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I've never
you
seen
have no
it.
idea. Yeah.
But I've been told, like, that's the whole premise, is that somebody killed his dog. And then he's like, fucking... And then they keep killing his dogs. Like,
but I don't know if you see them kill the dogs. Like, even if this is the idea of the dog dying, you can't do it?
I don't know. I've never watched John Wick because I don't know the answer to that. So I'm like, I can't take that chance.
Like, have you seen I Am Legend?
Nope.
Yeah. He kills. You pretty much watch him kill the dog in that one.
Can't watch it.
Yeah.
Can't watch
It's
it.
pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
I like borderline Charlotte's Web because he almost dies. Like, can't watch it. But
Do you
Marley
not fuck
and
with
Me,
the Lion
no.
King either?
Okay, Lion King's fine.
Okay.
Lion King's a classic. I have to like Lion King.
But that's the saddest scene. Dude.
That
That's
seriously ball every time.
Yeah.
Like, the
Dad.
worst. Anybody. Oh my god. But yeah, no. And then I'm also like, I really enjoy rewatching movies I've already seen. And that's my problem. And so
specifically
I'm like,
Disney movies.
well, sometimes. But or like TV shows. I think I'm on my like 30-second rewatch of Friends. Like,
Nice.
I have a problem. But
Who's your favorite Friends character?
oh god.
There is one right answer here, and
I know. It depends on my mood. I mean, most of the time is Chandler. But sometimes I'm a Phoebe guy. Like, I love Phoebe. She's just a silly little guy. But
Halfway.
I love
That's
Phoebe.
fucking illegal.
No.
You can't like anyone more than me.
But actually, I really like the little monkey, Marcel. He's my favorite.
Marcel. I remember Marcel.
Oh yeah.
What's the guy who works at the Central Perks name?
Oh, Gunther.
Gunther.
He died.
Yeah,
That
he
actor
did
died
die.
recently.
Yeah, sad.
The worst.
Yeah, so you like kind of consuming entertainment.
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing anything else, you just like to kind of consume different media.
Definitely.
Pretty common. Yeah, that's awesome. Friends is definitely a great show. Not much else though. Pretty much just theater and music and.
I like to think that I'm board game guy, but then it's like 5 board games that I actually enjoy. I don't know. I tried to be a D&D guy. Didn't work.
D&D's tough, dude. It's tough.
It's just you have to have such a good fucking
DM.
DM.
You have to have a DM, and you have to understand like how the game is played. Because
Yeah.
if not, then it kind of drags, and you're like, ugh.
I came in like halfway through somebody's campaign because they said it was okay for me to join, and it was my boyfriend's roommates, and the DM just wasn't that good, and they like, I didn't really get what was happening because they would jump back and forth between like, being their characters and then just being like, this is what my thing is doing now, and I was like, I don't
don't
what
get
is
it.
happening? Or like they'd talk to me and I'd be like, who are you? Like, are you Jacob or are you fucking Gargamel the Fourth? Like, but yeah, so I didn't play after that. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm a big media guy, I guess. But Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's tough too, right? Like
I get
especially
a
when
lot
you're
of outside
involved.
time, too.
Yeah, when you're involved in theater, it's tough, dude. Like it's tough
Yeah.
to be involved in like interested in different
Yeah.
things.
I'm like, I have my cat. She's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
But like that's literally all I have time for.
Do
Like
you still have your dog?
she's alive.
That's good.
She was my service dog for a while, but she's, oh God, 14, 15 now? She's old. She's a border collie, so, you know, she's living forever, but, like, she's
Faith?
old. Mhm.
Yeah.
So the end of my freshman year, I gave her to my brother, because he has, like, he lives with his fiance's parents, and they live in, like, Mayfield, or Mayfair, not Mayfield. They live in Mayfair over by Boise. And just a bunch of land. And there's another little dog there that she gets to play with, and they take really good care of her. So she's still kicking. I mean, she's doing great. But yeah, she forgot a lot of her training and stuff. So I was like, it's not fair to you to. And she got separation anxiety, so I couldn't like leave her home in the dorms because people would hate me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she's with my brother now. So
Shout out to Faith.
hell yeah.
All right, Harmony. What do you believe in the universe? What do you think is going on here?
You know, I'm not really a religion person. I was raised Mormon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my parents started going to church when I was like 18 months old. They met some missionaries that they really liked that convinced them to go. Worst mistake ever. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, of course, man.
But-
It's Idaho. It's like, what's gonna happen? You know what I
It
mean?
was in Oregon.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't know how that happened.
I don't know. Yeah, I was born in Oregon.
Oh, wow. Where in Oregon?
Baker City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very small. Very small.
Yeah, apparently I can't get out of small towns. Anyway, but
Hey, you're going to Detroit, dude.
Detroit,
So.
man, I don't fucking. Anyway, so they started going to church when I was 18 months, and then so I was raised in the Mormon church. That was all I knew. And then I got to about 12 or 13. It's really interesting growing up in the church because you're in primary, which is like the children's class, until you turn 12. And then you move up to young men's or young women's.
Okay.
And it's, you know, the people that are your age move with you, so you're not like alone. But I was in the same ward or like area from the time I was 6 until I was 12. And then we moved.
Oh, no, dude.
yeah.
That's like the worst time.
We moved from Meridian to Boise and ended up switching wards. We switched buildings entirely. Like, it was insane. So not only was I moving to a new class, which, like, I wasn't in primary anymore. I had to do this new thing. But it was also brand new people. And so, like, they already had their cliques and their friends. And so I was coming in, like,
You came in like a freshman at the 2018 Idaho State University, you know what I mean? Theater department.
oh my God. Yeah. And so I came in, like, who are you people?
Yeah.
Like,
Why do you hate each other?
yeah, there was so much. Anyway, yeah, they had a lot of drama, and I don't know if it was just because it was Boise and it was like teenage girls, but like whew, it was bad. So I didn't like going anymore, and so I convinced my mom to like let me. I would go to Sacrament with them, which was, you know, everybody in the one room. I'd go to Sacrament, and then we lived right next to the church, so I'd just walk home because I didn't want to deal with it. And then eventually, when I like wasn't really going to church anymore, that's when I got really into science. And then I was like,
You're like, I think there's something fishy going on here about
wait a
this God thing.
you're telling me that a human being walked on the ocean? Fake. Like, didn't happen. And then, like, I was still, like, very impressionable at a young age. And so my, like, 7th grade science teacher was very, very, like, anti-religious. And he wasn't supposed to, like, share that with the students. It was kind of illegal, but he did. And he was like, there's proof of, like, civilizations thriving around the time that the flood apparently happened. And so 13-year-old me was like, yes.
Yeah, I walked in.
Yeah, and I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's true. And that's all I'm going to believe now. But anyway, so I just kind of, like, started falling out of it and being like, this is kind of, like, yeah, miracles happen, but, like, that many in 1 week? So I kind of got out of the church for a while, stopped going completely when I was like 15, and then never really, I would go if like my friends were, you know, like doing talks, or one of my friends was going on her mission, so she had like her farewell thing, and I went to that. and when she returned, and like
You're going more to like support than like
Yeah.
because for belief. Yeah.
yeah. So now I think I'm definitely like, I think there's something there. I don't think it's a religious thing, but my belief is kind of like, the universe is just the invisible like guiding hand. And
Do you believe
so
it's conscious at all?
I haven't decided on that yet. I've been thinking a lot about it, but I think that there's a lot more like powerful energy than people like to believe, and so like manifestation is huge for me. And I don't know where that energy goes, but I think it goes out to the universe, and it happens or it doesn't, but I think the universe always knows where to point you. So, but yeah, I don't think that it's one guy up there, ruling everything.
Yeah, saying like you have to believe this one thing in order to get here. You have to do these things or blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm kind of along the same ilk. What do you think about Jesus? Who do you think Jesus is? This is a question I like to ask a lot of people, because everyone has different answers. You know what I mean? Do you think he was a real guy? Do you think he didn't exist at all? Do you think he's just like some fucking con man? Do you believe he's God, Harmony?
No, definitely not. I think that not to say that nobody like him existed, because I definitely think there was probably some guy that everyone looked up to that like inspired the whole thing. But like, I don't know. Because, you see, like, all these, like, street magicians that can, like, do cool shit, and everyone's like, oh, my God, this is magic. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe this guy was just like, look at this. I could walk on water. But he, like, had a box underneath, like, he did something.
Yeah, Chris Angel in him.
Yeah. He did something, like, and clearly, some guy with great leadership skills. But, like, I don't know. I just don't buy into the whole, like, son of God thing. I'm also, like, fucking Mary, all of a sudden has a child. Yeah. Doesn't know how it happened.
The Holy Ghost came and gave me a child. This is crazy.
No, I promise. Like, yeah.
It's really interesting because that's actually there's a lot of similarities between this guy in the Bible named Nimrod, who's like the original king of Babylon. He set up Babylon, and he had this wife named Semiramis. Who Nimrod was like a great king, set up Babylon, doing all the sorts of shit. Like Babylon's like a real place in history. Like it's a great kingdom for a long time, and it's talked about in the Bible, right? And afterwards, this isn't talked about in the Bible at all, but it is interesting the similarities. Nimrod goes out to like war and like dies because either by like a boar or by another dude or whatever. But he dies, and Semiramis, as soon as he dies, she's a little promiscuous, you know what I mean? Semiramis is getting around. And she says that Nimrod, after he died, went and became the sun. And then the beams of the sun impregnated her. So now her son is, who's like Talmuz or some shit, Talmud, is now the deity of Nimrod and God. Yeah, so it is very interesting, like just how that story kind of like prophecy, and there's this father and a son that like always just seems to come about, and whether whatever is true, I don't really know.
It's the patriarchy.
It's the patriarchy, man. Yeah, and there's even shit like in I don't necessarily identify as a Christian, but I think that's probably the closest belief system I have, and there's even a lot of shit in the Bible that like the patriarchy, because of the Catholic Church at the beginning of it, took out. Like, the Holy Spirit is, like, classified as a woman. Yep. Like, throughout Scripture, if you really, like, dive into it, go check out Bible Secrets. It's a 12-part fucking biblical podcast we have on this podcast. We break out a lot of that shit. Yeah, it's crazy. That's very cool. Yeah. I'm glad that you kind of came around to something being out there, because I think that the thought of, like, it being nothing... First of all, I don't think it's very logical to me personally. We can debate on that all day back and forth. But I think even believing something is out there gives people some semblance of like meaning or purpose to life, which I think is very important.
Yeah, I have a very hard time like thinking that there could be absolutely nothing there.
Yeah.
And like I'm not a huge like as much as other people like crystal collector. But there are, like, certain little ones, like, we have a crystal shop in Old Town, and And
Shout out to Enchantments.
Shout out to Enchantments. They're amazing.
Yeah, cool shop.
I love that store. Sometimes I just go to go. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna buy
facts,
anything, but
facts,
I'm
like-
like, I just love the vibe.
I get super high. Just walk around.
Well, and they have a dog now that they just like let chill in the
that's
store.
lit.
It's so cute.
That's lit.
And he'll just like follow you around, and I'm like, oh, personal shopper. Like, but
He's like, "Hi, welcome to Enchantments. Do you need anything today?" It's a sign on his neck.
oh my gosh, no, yeah. But so like, being like an anxious person, like I've found, there's crystals that are specifically meant for like calming or grounding and like things like that. And so whenever I manage shows, I always have them with me. And
wow.
sometimes they help, sometimes they don't. But like, I think it depends on, you have to put the right energy into it to get the right energy out of it. But yeah, and then also just like, I'm a huge empath. I always have been. And so already understanding that like people just give off different energy, like I think that just translates right into what the universe is doing.
Totally.
So
Even if you don't believe in God, I think it's very hard to deny energy or vibration or things like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like if I were to believe that it was like people, or deities or something, it'd be closer to like old Egyptian stuff where there was like multiple like gods for different things. And it's not just Egyptian, like Greek and everything else says that. But I just have a hard time believing that it's one dude,
Right.
Some weird bearded guy up in the sky is like, everything is mine.
Yeah. I'm along the same lines. I mean, it's just like I struggle with the idea of like, I do believe in an afterlife, right? Some sort of conscious afterlife. And my question that I think I want to bring up on this podcast sometime to some friends of mine, some who are very religious, some who are not, is like, do you believe that there is one way to the best afterlife? Do you believe that there are a few ways? Or do you believe that there are many or no ways? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I think that quite honestly, I think there's a few. I don't think there's many ways, but I think that there are a few ways to like be a good person and like to live a good life and to want the best for people and to put out good energy. But I don't think it's like one, like you're saying, like one dude who's like, hey, if you're gay, listen,
No. Yeah.
it's not here, okay?
Yeah. I definitely think like there's definitely not just one. I wouldn't say there's like a million, but I think it's subjective. Like my definition of being a good person and somebody else's could be totally different. And I think that overall, there's like good versus bad. And everyone kind of has the idea of that. But I think also my version of the best afterlife is going to be different than your version of the best afterlife. So as long as I can get to what I deem as my best version, great. And like, even if my best version is the pearly gates and, Gerald the Seventh and his best version is, being in hell with Satan, like that's his idea and, go him. But like, as long as I'm happy and I treat others well, I think that's all that matters. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's 1:00 now. Do you got a jet? You got nothing
I have
going
no
on?
plans today.
Okay, I'm gonna restart this camera and then I'd like to do this last segment and then we should be good.
Sick.
Hell yeah. Okay, Harmony.
Yo.
This is, first of all, thank you for being here. And doing this with me. This is actually the 2-year anniversary of my podcast. This episode will come out on the day of. Yeah, I'm just super glad that I said that an hour into the podcast, but it is what it is. I guess I'll clap here just to make sure. Should have done that before. It's all good. So here is the last segment of the podcast that we're going to do, okay? It's called Tournament of Fools, okay? So we are going to do a tournament, but before, I'm going to introduce it, and then you're going to sing the theme song.
Oh, great.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. And now welcome to the Tournament of Fools.
It's the Tournament of Fools. Cha-cha.
With Harmoni Thompson.
Great.
Perfect. Okay, Harmony. Here is your tournament. Your tournament is, which of these fruits do you believe deserves its own musical?
Ooh.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here are the ranking of fruits, and then we'll kind of go one by one.
Okay.
These rankings come from random.org/list because I send these off to my friends to rank them, and very few ever do.
All right.
So, here are the rankings. Number 8, I think this is respectable. Mango.
That's fair.
Okay, do you like mangoes?
Not really.
I fucking hate mangoes, dude. Yeah, pound that. Everyone fucking loves mangoes, dude. Why do they love mangoes?
I'm okay with like mango flavored drinks, but it can't be just mango. You know, like
It's anything mango, dude. The only thing I've ever liked is dried mango.
I don't even like that. I think the texture sucks. But
Yeah, they're not good. Okay. Number 7, bit disrespectful. The huckleberry.
damn.
Right? Yeah, but they don't know we're from Idaho, so it's all good.
True.
Number 6, again, pretty disrespectful. The kiwi. Okay. Number 5, banana. Number 4 is strawberry. Number 3 is apple. 2 is orange. And in a very odd number 1 pick, random.org selected lemon as the number 1 fruit. Okay?
All right.
So here's the first matchup. The first matchup for which of these fruits deserves its own musical that you would like to stage manage at Wayne State in your upcoming year. We have number 1, lemon versus number 8, mango.
Definitely lemon. Fuck mangoes, dude.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot you can do with lemons.
I think lemon adds as a main character in a musical too. Like they're like sour and sweet.
Exactly.
So they have like a lot of dichotomy, right? I think it'd be interesting. Mango to me is like the villain in a musical.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
Mango.
think they can do like one thing.
Yeah. It's like,
one skill.
you're either like the chubby fat like friend sidekick, or you're just an asshole, dude.
Exactly.
You're one of the two. So I agree with you.
Have you seen Sausage Party? That fucking movie? Mango feels like the douche. Like Mango is the douche.
I'm the douche, bro. That movie sucks, dude. That movie, like,
The worst.
when the guys. Okay, so I took a girl on a date to that movie.
Chandler.
What
were you thinking?
What an idiot, dude. I'm fucking Marlo. I'm an idiot getting myself killed like that. When the guy's head fell through the ceiling and the guy's like, I killed him. I was like, where are we going with this movie, man? The douche was the only thing I liked about that movie.
Honestly. Oh my god.
I'm the fucking douche, bro. Okay. Next we have number 4 versus number 5, which is strawberry. This is very interesting. Strawberry versus banana.
I mean,
Banana is the main character, dude.
banana has to be, but like the strawberry banana duo.
I know.
I love strawberry banana.
They should be in like a buddy musical comedy.
They should be like a buddy cop movie. That'd be fun. But
one's got to go. Between strawberry and banana, who do you think deserves their own musical?
I think banana. I think it's better. Okay.
You think it's better than strawberries?
Here's my beef with strawberries.
Okay.
They look delicious. They look amazing.
Right.
And then you bite into it and it's like a letdown.
You're the only individual I've ever heard say this.
That's fine. I will gladly walk alone on this. I think that they look scrumdiddlyumptious.
Facts.
And then they taste like kind of okay.
Cap. That's cap. That's cap.
Maybe I've just had shit strawberries, but I've never bitten into a strawberry and been like, man, fuck yeah, this strawberry. But like, I don't, and even like chocolate strawberries, they're okay. But like,
I'm glad I did this with you. You have strong opinions about fruit, dude. You have strong opinions about fruit.
Like, it's something that I would never ask for strawberries. If they were given to me, I'd gladly eat them. But like, they would not be the thing that I asked for. Yeah. Fair
enough. I hear your point. You do realize that like 90% of the world, like strawberries, like top 2 what they would ask for, right? That's crazy, dude. There's just something about strawberries that doesn't match with your tongue. I do agree though. I think banana's the main character. Because if you put banana into any type of smoothie, that's all you're tasting.
Oh my god.
That's all you're tasting. Yeah. It slaps, but it's also like, man, like it's a lot of banana in this strawberry banana milkshake, dude.
Also, hear me out, banana splits.
Banana splits are pretty banging. Also, it's just like the most identifiable fruit.
Yeah.
Like you see a banana, you're like,
that's a banana.
That's a fucking banana. So yeah, so let's go banana. Moving on to round 2. The next one we have number 3, apple versus number 6, kiwi.
Apple, absolutely.
Real. Yeah, I mean, apple's also like the main character of the musical, man. But like, kiwis are fascinating.
Kiwis look cool. I think it's the same thing as strawberries, man. Like, kiwis taste great. Kiwis taste better than strawberries, for sure.
For sure.
I don't.
We're not going off of what tastes the best.
I know.
We're going off of like who deserves the role,
Okay, well, this is
man.
still apple. Kiwi's fucking weird. The fuck fucking hair on the kiwi is what throws me off.
I think that's what makes it
can't fuck with
interesting.
I can't fuck with it. I can't do it. Nothing against hair. I'm not part of the fucking patriarchy here. But, like, I can't do it. I can't fuck with kiwis. I don't know. And apples, just, like, they're so versatile. Like, you could do anything with apples.
I feel like they're only versatile in flavor.
Sure.
They're only versatile because there's so many.
Versatile, not in flavor.
Well, I mean, like, because there's, like, different types. Like, I just don't know if they're, like, you're saying that you can do a lot of things with apples.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think you can.
What do you think you could do with apples?
Also, there's like a million types of apples. You could make a whole thing of just apples because there's like 50 different kinds.
That is a dinner I don't want to go to. If I walked in and there's just 70 different types of apples.
I'm not talking about food here. I'm talking about like you could just like the content you could make like with because there's a million different kinds.
Well, and you could do a whole musical of just apples,
Of just
apples. Different type of apples. Yeah, that's true.
Kiwis are kiwis, man. Like,
man,
you're gonna get 10 of the same looking thing. It's not as interesting.
They could do like an Apple musical about like acceptance and like racism.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You get one
you
green
could do like a
apple
Zootopia. Yeah.
Oh
you
my
get the green
God.
apples moving in. You're like those Granny Smiths
fucking
over there.
greens.
And the son's like, I don't know, Dad. I think they're actually pretty nice. And
No.
then, like, and then like the kids become friends and shit. And
Oh my God.
I agree with you though. I think that we should do Apple. Apple should move on.
Yeah.
Okay. And last for round one, we have number 2, Orange versus number 7, Huckleberry.
You're not gonna like my answer here.
Yeah, I'm not, because you're gonna say Orange.
I'm gonna say orange. Yeah. Huckleberries are fine.
But they have the same issues as strawberries.
No, I don't think so.
I hate strawberries.
I think oranges are fun. I think Huckleberry is cute. And that's it. That's all they have going for them. But
You think they're both like children's musicals almost?
yeah. Yeah.
Then what? Then why not we just send Huckleberry to the next round? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, it's obviously gonna lose. Like, whatever's gonna lose to Apple in the next round,
sure.
right?
But I don't know. I think oranges, like, they're just these little guys. And huckleberries are so hard to work with. I feel like if oranges and huckleberries were like performers, I feel like oranges are just gonna be like like I'll do whatever you tell me to. And huckleberries are like the diva of the whole process.
No, dude, Apple's the diva, dude. Apple is the
I
diva.
think Apple's the star, but I think that Apple might be. I think it depends on the apple. I think like a Red Delicious for sure is gonna be like, nah, fuck that shit.
Divas, dude,
but
divas.
I think like, what is it, Fiji apple? I don't know.
Yeah,
what it
like
is.
Fiji, I think.
I think they'd be so nice. Like they'd just be like, oh yeah, like I'm a star, but like they'd be the kind of lead that's like friends with everybody. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, like certain type of dolls probably have like different like personalities, like a pink lady, right? Would be like the ingenue,
Yeah.
like the lead ingenue,
Oh my
but she's
God.
also super nice to everybody
Yeah.
backstage.
Yeah. And I just think the huckleberries would like lock themselves in their dressing room and be like, bring me coffee. Like they would be the bitch.
But I feel like I agree with this, but like at the same time, I feel like they're also Heath Ledger. I feel like Huckleberries would be like method actors, dude.
You want to hear something? I'm not a Heath Ledger fan.
Have you seen the movie, dude? Have you seen the movie? The movie's so good. His Joker's so good. How you can say that?
He's good. I don't really fuck with Joker either, but like
I'm not saying that like he's the greatest actor of all time. I'm saying like his portrayal of Joker in that Dark Knight movie is like fucking.
Isn't he the one that went like super method and like
locked
freaked
himself,
everyone out?
Yeah, well he locked himself in like a hotel room and
Yeah.
stuff. He didn't do like things to other people. That was Jared Leto. Jared Leto was the one who was like sending like dead rats and stuff to Margot Robbie. Weird stuff, man.
Gross.
I don't like Jared Leto anyway. But Heath Ledger would just like lock himself in like a hotel for like weeks on end before the shoot and like dry out his mouth to try and like get the voice and his laugh and weird shit. But he wasn't like, I don't think he was like, I think Heath Ledger had enough awareness to like not push that on other people. Because I'm kind of the same way a little bit. Like when I'm getting in character backstage for this show, like I'm very much trying to walk around with like boss type, I don't give a fuck energy. But also like not try to like just be pushing people around backstage, you know?
Yeah.
I'm also not locking myself in a hotel for 6 weeks straight.
I think it might just be the fact that like I value self-care and just to hear that somebody put themselves through that for a role, I don't know. And I feel like Huckleberry would be that bitch.
Yeah, I think you're looking out for Huckleberry's mental health. And you know what, Harmony, I'll concede. We'll send Orange to the next round.
Great, it's gonna lose anyway. But.
It's gonna lose to Apple. Okay, number 1. So this is the semifinals. We have lemon versus banana.
Oh, fuck.
This is a good one. This is a good one. I still feel like banana's definitely the main character of a musical.
Definitely. But I feel like lemons would be more interesting. Like, I feel like banana would almost be like a one-man show. Like, it could easily be a one-man show.
Yep.
But lemons would be like, full production, full scale, everything. And I think that would be so much more fun to watch and do.
And again, the sourness of the lemon, I feel
yeah.
like is what makes it the most interesting, like, or even, have you ever heard like the phrase, someone sold me a lemon? It's like a lemon is also like something that's doesn't work well, something that's like kind of broken down. Like people will be like, oh, this guy sold me this car and it broke down. He sold me a lemon. So I think you could even play with that a little bit in the musical too. Like someone who's like washed up, run down. He's like, no one wants this lemon anymore. They're treating this lemon like a lemon.
You bring in a romantic lead. It's just a fucking packet of Splenda. Yeah.
And someone opens it from the top and spills over and dies. You're like, no, Splenda. Are you going lemon here instead of banana?
Lemon. I think this would be more interesting. I think banana is banana.
And banana is much more of like a one-man show.
Yeah.
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 I agree with you. I think we should go lemon. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I did not think lemon was going to make it this far.
Lemon.
Orange versus apple.
Apple.
Yeah. We're not even
question.
going to debate that.
Yeah.
Now, here's the big one, right?
Oh.
Lemon, which is so interesting, versus all of these different types of apples, dude.
Shit. I don't know.
I feel like, okay, let's say this, right? If you have lemon, you gotta have lime.
That's fair.
So lime's gonna be in Lemon's musical.
That's true.
Right? What other things are gonna be in Lemon's musical? I feel like for sure lime, for sure like this Splenda packet, right? That's like the ingenue leading girlfriend, and maybe lime is the guy who like brings him back from like some depression that Lemon's in.
Yeah. I don't know what else would go in Lemon's show. But man. I think that Apple has a lot of room for creativity because of all the different kinds of apples you get. I think that Apple would definitely be... I feel like Apple lends itself more toward a straight play. I don't know why I think that, but I do. But I think that with Lemon, like the sassy kind,
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that lends itself toward a musical. But I don't know. I feel like Apple's show would be more, not like serious, but have more of the like the moral of a story, like it'd be something that you learn.
It'd be like Matilda, I feel
Yeah.
like. Like a school musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like Lemon would be like Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
Lemon would be like Kinky Boots or like Hedwig or like something risque.
Yeah, exactly. And I love me some educational shows, but like
you want the dirty.
Something fun.
Yeah, you want the dirty and the raw and the real.
I think Lemon in my mind wins. I think that would be the better show. But yeah.
I'll agree.
Apple can make an appearance, sure. But like I don't know. I think
Apple needs to make a goddamn appearance in Lemon's show. This is Lemon's time to shine, baby. I agree with you. I think that is very surprising. I thought either Apple or Banana would for sure be the victors here, but I'm very glad that we found Lemon and the sassiness that Lemon has.
I love Lemon.
Sweet Harmony, anything else you want to tell the people before you go? You want them to follow you? You want to send them off with a message? You want...
Fucking come see our show.
Come see our show.
April 14th, 15th, and all the other days.
Opens on my birthday.
Oh, heck yeah.
Come give me a birthday present. Oh, yeah. Sweet. So, thanks, Harmony. Appreciate you being here. And we'll see you guys next week. Keep burning.